Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a terrific day. Y'all, let's do some more amazing paper crafting. Stay tuned. So today guys, we're going to do an all-in-one. Again, I heard from so many of you that you don't have the desk space or the workspace to be able to have the large 12 by 12 or the 6 by 6, and you would be interested in having something that is an all-in-one. That's what we're doing today. And here is today's project. So I'm going to tilt it just a little bit so that you can see that we have dividers on the inside, and this is wide enough to hold your 12 by 12 papers. It will also hold your 8.5 by 11, and it will also hold your 6 by 6s, and you can put other things in here as well. So let's say you're crafting your heart out. The day is over. You don't want to leave a mess. So you can take everything and put it in here. You can put your tapes in here, your glue, your papers, your scraps, and then tomorrow when you come in, you're ready to start working yet again. Great way to organize whatever project you might be working on, because there's a space for everything that you would normally use on your desk. You can put it in here. You can use this front section here to put your glues, your tapes, your tape runner, your finger blade, your ruler. You can put all of that in here, but you can also put the project papers that you happen to be using in here as well. Y'all know what time it is. It is time for us to make it. All right, guys, so to make our project, here is what we're going to need. I am going to be using foam board for this. However, if you don't have foam board, use whatever is going to work for you and then cut it out to these measurements. So we're going to need 2 pieces that measure 7 by 5. We need 1 piece that measures 13 by 5, 1 piece that measures 12.5 by 3, 1 piece that measures 12.5 by 4, 1 piece that measures 12.5 by 5, and 1 piece that measures 12.5 by 7. Now I am going to be using rolled paper on my project. If you don't have rolled paper, you are going to need to join some 12 by 12s in order to make this project. However, if you have access to wrapping paper, that will work. Some of you have said you're using contact paper. Use whatever you have. So the first thing that I'm going to do before we even start putting this together is we're going to go ahead and cut our 7 by 5 piece at an angle. I have already done one, so we're going to take our ruler, place it on the 7-inch side. Let's make a mark at 4. Then we'll take our ruler, place the ruler on that mark, and then just move it to the corner like that. And then we're going to take our finger blade, X-Acto knife, whatever it is you happen to be using, and we're just going to cut through. And now we have our 2 side pieces, so we're good on these. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to go ahead and cover our pieces because we are going to do this project just a little bit differently. We're going to do it in stages. So we're actually going to place it down piece by piece, but we'll still have that nice finished look. So I am going to start with my 12.5 by 7. Remove the tape that I have placed on the back. And I'll bring out my rolled paper, and I am going to take my 12 by 7-inch piece and place it at the bottom. Like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and just trim away some of this paper. So now I'll just trim out my excess. So I am just going to go to the edge and then I'll flare out. And this is a process that you guys see me do all the time when I'm making boxes. So we're going to go ahead and flare out there. Then I can take my tape and I'm going to place some tape and be right back. So I have removed my tape, so I'm just going to stand it up and fold it over. Just like so. And then I'll smooth everything out all nice and pretty. And now I'll take my finger blade and I am going to remove that excess paper. So this is the process that I am going to follow on my 12.5 by 7, my 12.5 by 3, my 12.5 by 4, and my 12.5 by 5. So I am not going to make you guys watch this repetitive part of the video. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and cover these in paper, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I have covered my 12.5 by 7, my 12.5 by 5, my 12.5 by 4, and my 12.5 by 3 in paper, front and back. So I am going to set these to the side, and we are going to bring in our piece that measures 13 by 5. Now I have already mounted it to paper, but I made sure that I left myself a border going all the way around, and because we're going to need that so that we can make sure that we have a nice finished edge on this. So right here, I am just going to miter these edges so that I can do a wraparound, and then I'll also be bringing this piece over. So I am just going to pinch right here and just kind of fold up to get my mark, and then I'm just going to cut out just a tiny little triangle. That's just going to help make everything close nice and neat. So I didn't do any taping of this. I'll tape it with you guys right now. So I'm going to just go ahead and lay down some tape. And then I'm just going to smooth out my tape. And now I'll lift my tape so that I can go ahead and get my sides placed, but I'm not going to take the tape all the way off because that's just going to help me control it once I have to lay down that longer piece at the top. So there, I've got that side done. I'll just smooth that back down, and I'll lift this side. And I'll go ahead and place this piece down. And now I'm just going to lift up a little bit here at the bottom, and we'll go ahead and wrap this piece over. And now I'll just use my big old spatula to come in, make sure everything is nice and stuck. Now I'm going to remove this piece because I want to control this rolled paper. So I am just going to take this piece, pull it over, and get it stuck on that first piece of tape that I removed. And now I can go in and remove that middle piece. And now I can remove my larger piece. And now I'll just use my finger blade to remove all excess paper. And so now we have our base. I am just going to smooth this out. And we are going to go ahead and cover our side pieces. Now I've already covered one, and I'll cover the second one with you guys. And I am using this gorgeous paper from Anna Griffin, and I'll hold up that SKU. Hopefully y'all can see it, in case you want to go look for this gorgeous paper, because it really is beautiful. And I'm just trimming away that base. So what we'll be doing is we'll take our piece and we're going to place it down so that we still have a little bit of that border So what we're going to do, guys, when we place it down, we're going to place it down so that we have some border here. And then when we cut it out, we're going to leave some border here. And you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So I have removed my tape from both sides of this piece. And I'm going to take it, place it here at the bottom. And you can see that I have left myself this border space here. So now that I have that border space, I am just going to lift that just to get my crease points going. And I'll do the same thing all the way around. So then I'm going to come back to where I have this point here and this section here. And again, I'm going to notch out a V. And I'm going to do the same thing here. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just cut myself a border so that I'll have a wraparound border. So now I'll take this piece and I'm going to fold it over just like that. I need to do a notch out here. So I'm just cutting in so that I can wrap this over. And so I'll take this piece and I'm going to wrap it around just like that. Now I'm going to take some glue, place my glue here. And now I can just do my wraparound. And I'll remove my excess. And I'm just going to come in here with my scissors and remove that. And on this piece, for some reason, my wraparound didn't work. So I am just going to take a little piece of scrap and fill that in. We are not going to stress over that at all. So I'll take that piece, put it down. And then we'll just get this nice and trimmed out. So now we have our two pieces and we're ready to start putting this together. So the first thing that we need to bring in our piece that measures 12.5 by 7. And we are going to take our glue. You can use hot glue for this. I am just going to use my Reptile Glue. But I am going to place glue on this raw edge right here. And now I can take this piece and I'm just going to do an end-to-end match. And I want to make sure that I have the back nice and flush and I have the bottom nice and flush. And then we just need to let that dry. And while it's drying, we can go ahead and place our glue on this side and repeat the process. So I am just going to allow my glue to run down just like that. Then I'm going to bring in this piece and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to put it together with this piece. And so y'all, I'm making sure that I have that back nice and flush and I have the bottoms aligned. All right, guys, so once we have it to this point, we need to go ahead and place it on our base. And even though it's not completely dry, I am going to go ahead and place my glue along the bottom. This is going to get kind of messy. And I should have put something down on my mat before I did this, but I didn't. So I'll very quickly have to clean up my mat once I get this glue placed. And then we're just going to pick this up and I'm going to go ahead and place it down on the base and then I'll come right back and show you guys what I've done. But I need to clean up some of this excess glue first. All right, so I have it placed on the base. I am just going to straighten this out, getting it nice and neat, front and back. And I think that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is just press down and we're going to let this dry completely before we try to put those side piece inserts in. And you don't have to worry about that glue on the inside, even though I'm wiping it up, because it's not going to show. It will dry clear. Okay guys, so this is what we have so far. I am just going to place it down, and we're going to go ahead and take our inserts and place them. So the first insert that we'll be putting in is the one that measures 12.5 by 5. Make sure that you do your test fit, and if you need to trim off any, just trim off small amounts. I don't need to trim off any. So I am going to take my glue and place my glue along the 3 raw edges, and I'm placing my glue just like this. So I have 3 raw edges, and I'm placing glue on all 3 raw edges. So now that I have glue on the 2 side pieces and the bottom, I am just going to take this and fit it in my box wherever I want it. Now I don't need that much 12 by 12 inch space, so I am just going to place that in there just like that. I'll press down and press in. Tell you guys what, my hands are a gluey mess right now, but that's okay. And then I'll take my piece that is 4 by 12.5, and I'll put that in, doing a test fit, and make sure you test fit each piece before you put it down. So now I'll do the same thing. I am going to take my glue, place my glue all over the raw edges of this foam board. So now I'll take this piece, I'm going to fit it in and slide it back to where I want it. And then I'll do the same thing of pressing down and pressing in that side. And now we're going to do our final one so you can see just how gorgeous this is starting to look. So I am going to take my piece that measures 3 by 12.5, do the same thing. So I will take my glue and place glue all over the raw edges of the foam board, and then we'll put this piece down. And now I'll take this piece and just decide where I want it. I think I want it sitting closer to the front. So I'm going to get that positioned. Try to make sure it's nice and straight. Then I'll press down and squeeze in. And I am just going to keep squeezing in on my whole project at this point, and then I'm going to set it off to the side and just let it dry, and then I'll be back and we can finish our chat. All right guys, so our awesome desktop organizer is still in the process of drying. My glue still has not dried completely, but that's okay because we're going to go ahead and put down our embellishments now. And in looking at this, I can see where my line isn't 100% straight, but y'all know what? I'm not going to stress over that. So I am going to just take my glue, place glue on that little cutie right there, and I'm going to place it right there. Then I'm going to take a second one, place my glue, take this one and place it on the opposite side. I will try to get these two fairly even. They might not look even because my line is crooked, but like I said, I'm not going to stress over that. I'm going to slide that over just a little bit and wipe up some of that excess glue. And now we're just going to let this dry, and then I'll be back to finish up. All right, guys, here we have it. Isn't this absolutely magnificently beautiful. It will hold your 12 by 12s, your 8.5 by 11s, your 6 by 6s, your scraps, whatever you want to put in here at the end of the day so that you can pull them back out the next day and start working. It will do that for you. And look at how stylish this is. I love the black and whites because we all know that is just so, so classy. And then I paired it with a couple of the gold rings in the front just to give it a little bit of pop. And I'm going to do just a quick tilt of this so that you all can see just how much room you actually have in here. So y'all, it wasn't a hard process at all. You can do this. So guys, I hope that you have liked this project. If you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys, please be safe. Remember to be kind. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.